Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kari and today I will talk about Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Wicked is one of my favorite books. I have the physical copy in Spanish and I also bought a copy in English on Kindle. As you can see, this has a lot of quotes that I underlined. This book is very special for me and I wanted to make a decent review about it. Also, I wanted to present you my copy because it's a very special copy for me. My sister gave it to me as a gift and I just love how it looks. I think it's gorgeous. This review is going to be divided in the description below. There you're going to find all the timestamps in case you want to skip a section or just go forward to one topic that interests you. With all that said, if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. I upload videos all about movies, TV shows and books. And now let's start. Wicked is an origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West from the famous classic The Wizard of Oz. So it is also a retelling. Gregory Maguire reimagines the world of Oz and makes it darker and richer, adding a lot of political intrigue, classism, fate, religion, and so much more. This book narrates the story of a girl named Elphaba and how she eventually becomes the Wicked Witch. It is a long book, I have to say. Here in my copy in Spanish, it has 575 pages, but it goes by so quickly, I promise. And this is actually the first installment in a series of 4 novels. They are all set in the world of Oz, but they follow different characters. But for sure, you can just read this as a standalone because it has its own story. The ending closes the whole story, so it doesn't matter if you don't want to read the whole series. And also this book inspired the very successful Broadway musical of the same name, which I haven't seen. I do want to. I think it's gonna be very special, but I also know that it's not quite the same story, like they changed some things. Still, I want to see the Broadway show. If you have, please leave it in the comments. I want to know all your thoughts. But that's another great reason to actually pick up this book. So the book is divided in several parts and each part is about a different stage on Elphaba's life. The first thing we see is even before she was born. Then we see her in her college years. We see her as an adult and eventually we see her as we get to know her in The Wizard of Oz, like in that stage of her life as the Wicked Witch. But I love how this book just gives her character a lot more depth. It shows you that it's not always black or white. It's just so impactful to see everything that she went through and I really enjoyed the story. I think it's amazing. I do recommend it a lot. It is adult fantasy, so of course it's not for children, but if you have read The Wizard of Oz and you like it, which is my case, I think you will truly enjoy this book. Now let's talk about the world building. This is one of my favorite aspects of the book because it takes the world of Oz that we already knew, some aspects of it that of course are not very well explained. They don't have like actually a reason to be. Of course, I'm only talking about the first book because The Wizard of Oz is also a series of books and maybe in some of those it's very explained, but what we get from the original novel The Wizard of Oz, some things are not very well explained and here it takes it to the next level. They make sense. The world building is extraordinary. We have a lot of places that we explore. We have the different creatures that live in Oz and the politics are just great. I'm not like a big fan of reading politics, especially in fantasy, but this book does it in a great way that is entertaining. It's just not boring, so it's great. Everything about the world, I just think it's very creative. That's one of the reasons why I like this book so much. Now, talking about the protagonist, as I said, Elphaba is probably one of my favorite book characters ever. I mean, I don't have like the complete list, I have to think about it a lot, but Elphaba is gonna be in that list. Seeing her journey through the chapters, through the phases of her life is very rewarding. It is fascinating because we see all aspects. We see that character development, how she became what she is at the end. And actually you get to relate to her a lot. She is weird, but in a relatable way, or at least to me. I fell in love with her character and I just liked following her, just seeing how she reacted to things, her personality developed, her relationships with other people. That was also very well done. And you can see that she's definitely unique. I know that all protagonists tend to be like unique and special, but I think Elphaba here, I don't know in the musical, maybe in the musical she is better, I don't know, because everyone loves her in the musical, but from here you get that special feeling, and if you relate to her from the beginning, if you like just the idea of having a backstory about her and just getting to know how she became the Wicked Witch, then this is the book for you. Another aspect that I think is great is the recreation of the story of The Wizard of Oz. Since we see all of Elphaba's life, in the last chapters we see the events of The Wizard of Oz. It's like we always knew this side of the story and now we see this side of the story, and everything just complements each other so well. How every piece of the puzzle fits is just mind-blowing. Everything makes sense and it takes the classic story to a greater level. That was one of the things that I enjoyed the most while I was reading it, because I enjoy The Wizard of Oz. It's not one of my favorite books, but I enjoyed it a lot. I just liked the story, the idea. And after reading Wicked and getting to see that other side that of course is not completely canon because it's a retelling, it makes you think that it is canon. You think that this is the actual story, like this is how everything happened. I just think this was very, very well done, and that aspect is one of the best about this book. That also goes with the writing style. I think the writer is very creative. Everything feels very clever and original, even if it's based on another story. Like, it is a retelling, but it feels original and true. As I told you, I underlined so many things. All of the quotes that I had while I read the book, because I read it on Kindle after reading this. In Spanish, I read it, I think, more than 4 years ago. Then I decided to reread it this year actually, so it's very fresh on my mind. That's why I wanted also to talk about it. On my notes I also have like a lot of quotes from this book, as you can see. A lot. This is one quote that I like a lot. It says, "Perhaps every accidental cluster of people has a short period of grace in between the initial shyness and prejudice on the one hand and eventual repugnance and betrayal on the other." I don't know, I just think that it is very clever. Also, the sense of humor that the book has, it's just peculiar and unique, and I loved it. Well, that's it for my review of Wicked. I just really hope that this encourages you to read it, even if you have been thinking about it, if you didn't even know the existence of this book. If you have seen the Broadway show and now you want to know the original story, I just think this is a great book to pick up. Even if you just like fantasy and you vaguely know the story of The Wizard of Oz, if you only have watched the movie, like, there are a lot of reasons why you should read this, and I truly recommend it a lot. Well, that was it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, that helps me a lot. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. I upload videos about movies, TV shows, and books. You can subscribe to the channel right here, and here on the screen I will put more videos for you to check out. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you next time. Actually, I want to know if someone understood this whole look, because it is Elphaba. The green aesthetic also matches with my nails, matches with the book. I just needed to say it, because, I mean, I hope someone noticed that. If you noticed, please leave it in the comments below. This was my attempt to an Elphaba look for the review of the book, and that's it. That's all I had to say.